like Facebook don't like me anymore.
I'm missing paperwork all over the place. I'm missing the bill from the post office.
They send it to me via email.
Yeah, I know, but remember the one that came in the mail?
No.
Oh, I've had two of them in the mail, and I can't find either one of them. I can't find the citation.
My citation.
It's just like everything is just all of a sudden vanishing.
The citation thing.
Yellow slip of paper.
Yeah, I know. I thought you were gonna do dishes.
I have to pay some bills first. I gotta pay the car insurance or it will cancel. Whenever you come across it, put it out on the table so I can call them and find out what date that actually is on there.
Okay, so we are back at it again. Actually out of steel plate, wasn't I? If I remember correctly. It's funny, I thought I turned off my... Oh wow, okay, so I am out of iron. So I am basically setting things up. for future gameplay. That's the intent, anyway. That's not the one that I wanted. Six. muted. You might be muted. Yep, you're muted.
Yeah, I muted myself. Real quick when I was taking forever to join. I had my headphones on.
So, what'd you think about the idea?
You have to tell me about it.
Well, it's just like I said, I had come up with the idea, trying to figure out how you would be comfortable having our conversations, and if we had conversations that were part of the game specifically, well, that would be an acceptable way to have conversations, because either I'm talking to an AI or a voice in my head, from the space crazies.
Oh, okay. I see your stories. Yeah, no. I'm fine with the conversations. I just don't particularly want get into too much personal stuff on your streams. But yeah, I'm fine with talking on your stream. I'm not gyrating.
Oh no, I just figured that it would be an interesting way to tie everything into the streams. So if you wanted to get crazy or a little creative, there was always that option.
Yeah, I think when you're streaming, maybe I can. I don't know if other people are getting on your voice chat while you're streaming. But
Sometimes a little shit. Toll free. Never mind. Okay. Alrighty.
but I feel like obviously it's interesting if someone's in our conversation, but I think maybe I distracted a little bit from what you're trying to do. I don't. I feel like maybe I could add to it when you're doing the face engineer stream, and if we want to have another deep philosophical conversation, I can just do it another time. I don't have to do it when you're in the middle of being on Twitch.
Well, see, that's the thing. One of the story part of the storyline is part of the effects of space and the loneliness and what you do to combat the loneliness, whether it's talking to yourself or being happy just to even have an AI, um, whether it's nanites in the ship or nanites that you were accidentally exposed to, whatever the case may be. But what'd you think of the name that I came up with?
Pretty cool.
Yeah, but I was telling my wife about it, and she says, "Okay, you actually did come up with an acronym." I said, "Yeah, it was pretty cool." And she laughed and she says, "Well, maybe you should tell Dren and see what he thinks about it." I said, "Nah, he probably just go, oh yeah, great, I've got enough going on," kind of thing." But then I started thinking about it. I started laughing. I must have laughed for about 15 minutes.
People have told me, not a lot, but I mean, not like a robot or something. I don't really do that. But for the Exo lore, Red decided that we were robots. Which, I mean, I'm not super unhappy about it. I do have one character out of all the different role-playing games that I played that was a robot, but only one out of 100 different characters. One robot. Not counting the Exo bot.
Well, see,
yeah, I'm not big into robot or cybernetic RP, but I'm not against it necessarily.
well, see, that's the beauty of this. It keeps your handle, of course, because dynamic research experimental nanites. Dren. I don't know if you picked up on that.
I did see what you, the acronym.
Yeah, So
there.
now the nanites can be something that coat the ship. They could be something that became part of my suit, or something that I was exposed to on, say, an alien planet when I opened up my visor. And
Okay.
it was because of the nanites that the solar system that I'm in, or that I found, has been sterilized. And pretty much the
Oh,
only thing that's left are robots and artificial intelligence.
well, I think the concept is cool and the acronym is very neat, but I don't particularly want to be nice, if I'm being completely honest.
Well, but that's the thing, it evolves.
Maybe the voice in your head comes from the nice or something.
Yeah, that was the
Going
idea,
for it.
basically. Um, the nanites somehow or another managed to get into my neural pathways, whether it's
That
through
makes sense.
contact with the ship, some alien ship that I found, or some alien planet, or some alien technology, or part of an experimental suit that I found. You know, because I could do some
Yeah, I
custom,
think that's cool.
I could use some custom skin, to where I actually become the robot. Because I do have a couple of skins that are the Terminator,
Mm-hmm.
the T-1000 Terminator skin,
Yeah,
or something like that, or a Cylon skin.
that's cool. So, I don't think it necessarily needs to be a me specific thing. It can be
No,
anybody who gets onto your voice chat. They can be part of the side effects of nanites. But the concept is cool. I like it.
but the reason why I thought of you when I thought of this is because of your eclectic open-mindedness and
Yeah.
your ability, like mine, to have a conversation on just about anything at any time.
Makes sense. I mean, if you want to work our conversations into your story, I think that's the preferred person. Then I feel less like tracking.
Yeah, and it's an idea. I don't know how it would come about or the way it would work out, honestly, but
I mean, you can just start doing it anytime. I guess I probably should watch your streams so I can comment on it when we're doing the stream.
that works for me. I'm rubber banding all of a sudden.
One catches though. Sorry, I'm munching.
Oh, no worries.
I don't do Facebook. I do have an account, but I don't do it for a while.
Oh no, you're not required to log in or anything else like that if you don't want to. When we're doing it, if you want me to, I can just stream to Discord. So it's like a private audience kind of thing. And I can.
That'll work. Or I can do we can do Twitch, but yeah, we can do Discord too as long as it's screw up your.
It hasn't so far. Sometimes it does, depending on my bandwidth. Um, like right now, I'm having issues rubber banding. I guess my magnetic boots got stuck. But Facebook, it's not cooperating with me since yesterday. I think it didn't like my 18-hour, 19-hour stream.
Do people watch your Facebook?
A few, not many.
That's cool.
I have people that log in from Steam as well, from time to time. Not a lot. Um, all in all, I think I have maybe 19 or 20 at the most on Twitch, and then I have another 14 or 15 on YouTube. Um, and then Steam, at any given time, I'll have one or two viewers. And then from time to time, I'll stream on Discord because I'll have lurkers but that's okay. I have a lot of people that watch my stream that don't comment, and I'm okay with that. You know, if they just like watching the
You just
stream,
like to learn.
yeah, and I'm okay with that because they like seeing the the
Excuse me.
stupid stuff that I do and the stupid things that happen. Um, Not to mention that there are some people that actually enjoy my misery and my pain in real life. You know, when things like the seizures start to happen and that kind of thing. And I'm okay with sharing that part of my life. You know, I'm I've always been open with who I am. There are some things that I don't do, like give out my social security number. I'm hesitant to give out my address, even though I do appreciate it when people do things like donate, you know, blah, blah, blah. Um, but it's never a requirement. And oftentimes it's more that I appreciate the fact that people are willing to and they make the effort. Um, but sometimes my gut says, yeah, don't. So I don't. Um,
Oh, certain things.
yeah, it just
Yeah.
yeah, and it's very dynamic in that aspect. It's not meant to offend anybody. It's just I listen to my instincts for better or for worse.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes you don't say things on, there's like public and there's private. Of course, you can be open and share, be willing to share more than others, but then some, best is to not broadcast it publicly. You don't know what is happening.
Right, and I have had a number of issues crop up where people have tried to break into my computer. They've tried to do the phishing, that kind of thing. Um, they've put me on these call lists, you know, that kind of stuff. I mean, that comes with the territory. But give me a second. I'm going to go get some fresh hot coffee. Be right back.
Sounds good. Be right back to you.
set up with my oxygen farms, my hydrogen tanks, and my O2 tanks, and a few solar panels to charge the batteries, and some incomplete blocks. With an empty station. And then come over here, one of these somewhere. This side. Oh, right here. Okay. Very rudimentary space station.
My server is driving.
That's not a drive. It's not a drive. It's a hop, skip, and a jump.
Yeah.
Yeah, your server. If your server is driving you nuts, that's not true. It's only a hop, skip, and a jump.
Yeah.
There's no drive involved. Why? What's going on?
It's
You think it might be a? Oh, you're still working with that one.
What do you think it might be? What was that saying?
You're working with the 500,000% mod.
No, I already replaced. Not build it one anymore. You have to find it. That's fine. New guards code with the best.
No, his older. Yeah, his.
He has like four different mods, all scattered in one file, and a bunch of staples, like code that's related to mod. He says that it produces platinum and uranium, got silicon in there, and like the number is supposed to be 1,100. Quite glad that he let me take over. I just put everything up neatly in files, all shit, not there.
Well.
Nothing against Newgard. I love his stuff. I probably will continue to use whatever stuff he can. Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of that particular stuff.
Well, I did notice that when I took a look at Newgard's scripting, it's dirty.
Yeah, it's dirty. I don't mean to be weird or anything, but I'm sort of OCD about stuff like that, like even like spacing. Like as you blocks and stuff, like code blocks. I want all of everything to be nice, neat.
Well, yeah, that's what I mean by dirty. It doesn't follow proper format, and if you're not an experienced scripter or coder, you don't understand the importance of the real syntax of scripting and the coding. And for an experienced programmer, it's like trying to be able to read a book. If it's not formulated with the right grammar, it makes it almost difficult to read, near impossible.
Yeah, even his file naming convention, not a huge fan. I sort of kept his style and tried to stay within it. I like the code. Yeah, I did split up all this stuff into correct files.
Yeah, that's one of the hardest things when you're taking over somebody else's code, is you basically have to reverse engineer and get inside their head.
Yeah.
And that's one of the challenges.
Yeah, I mean, it's just XML, so it's not hugely difficult. I know why he put it on one file. It's simpler. It's XML. It doesn't really matter where it is. It's just, I've never seen another modder do that before.
I've actually seen that. Now, did he put it in a bin file?
No, that's the zip file, actually.
Okay. Now, some modders will put their space engineers into a bin file.
Those are the legacy things?
Yeah. Hey, how's it going?
Hey, it's going good.
What's up?
Been a few days.
Right?
I missed your pretty voice. He's like, oh God, I came in here for that.
This is the exact same fucking reason I didn't join back for the past 2 days.
Well, honestly, I need to hear what you said, so don't be embarrassed. Because my brain just auto tunes out sometimes. He left.
Yeah, he'll be back. Nah, and there's something about that young man that he just makes it real easy for me to mess with.
Yeah, there's some people like that.
And he just walks into it. He's really intelligent, but he's hyper naive.
I used to that way. I'm still on.
Yeah, he's a really good kid.
I try not to walk the stuff, but I do occasionally.
Yeah, and like I said, he's hyper intelligent, and he's a really good kid. But he makes it too easy, and it's hard to pass it up.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes people enjoy the funny, and they don't realize they're doing it, but sort of setting themselves up for laughing.
Yeah, but then it can bother people.
Yeah, if they don't realize what they're doing.
Right, and some people they see it as a negative.
They don't realize that their inner self has a sense of humor and it's them.
Pretty much, yeah.
At some point, I realized that I was setting myself up for different things.
But
And then I just kind of let it happen for a while. And then now I try to be a little bit more careful about it. I don't actively avoid it unless I don't want to do.
uh-oh.
Just an awareness thing.
Yeah, and it's like I said, some people are okay with it, some people are offended by it, and if the young man is offended by it, I do apologize ahead of time, or a little late, as it were. I mean no offense by it. It's the levity. I appreciate being able to laugh. And I was just waiting for him to dish it back out, kind of thing. But hopefully he'll be back. He's a good kid. Anyway, so I am figuring out what to do from here. What I've basically been doing is I've been creating haphazard stations on the different planets and in space. I've done the moon, I've done the Earth-like planet, I've just made an impromptu space station. I think I have 3 or 4 different bases on the Earth-like planet, 1 or 2 on the moon, 1 in space. I have a large grid mining platform with a hangar that I built, and then I have 2 of these ships. One of them's on the Earth-like planet, and one of them I'm flying. This one's a little bit different though. This one has the merge block on it. This is the one that I use to create space stations with, hence the merge block.
I'm not watching.
No worries. No worries.
Oh, you're talking to yourself?
Well, I'm talking to the stream. It's
Okay, cool.
it's one of the things that I try to do is to share my train of thought or what I'm doing with the stream. So even if people are not watching live, when they tune in or if they decide to watch it, they can follow along and understand my train of thought while I'm busy playing with the caboose. You see what I did there?
Yeah.
Train caboose.
Sorry, I'm sort of doing a couple. I'm not trying.
Oh, you're multitasking. I see.
Not very well. I'm very well. I'm hyper focused. My brain just automatically started to go away. So, for one, I'm also a visual person, not auditory. Hard, I don't. Is there some place I can watch what you're doing? Because I have two screens that help me.
Well, I'm streaming to Twitch. I'm streaming to YouTube, Steam.
Wow. I'm famous.
But if it's easier for you, I can bring up Discord.
No. I just got to interface with your optical nerve, and I'll be able to.
Okay. Wait a second here. Whoa. Wait a second. No interfacing. That's kind of scary.
It's the only way I can see.
Okay.
It won't cause any permanent damage to your optics.
What? Damage? What? Whoa! Wait a second here. I like my eyes just the way they are, thank you. So which interface would you choose? Be nice.
Actually, I just interface with your processing matrix of your brain. You probably didn't know you had one of those, but you do. I'm able to see what you're seeing without interfacing with your optic nerve.
So you're using my ship's camera then? Or my suit's camera?
Yeah, more or less. Call it that.
Okay, I'm getting scared now. What exactly are you interfacing? Never mind. I don't.
Your brain makes a picture what you see.
Yeah, the interface part still kind of got me a little bit. That's kind of scaring me a lot.
It's now your process. Sort of, it's been augmented. We'll call it. I'm able to see what you're seeing without your eyes.
So why does the old song "I Touch Myself" come to mind? That just that's bad. That's
Sounds like you need a jukebox.
no. I hate that. That
bass tune's going.
yeah. What's that name of that fun song? Oh, the fun song. That's what it's called. I found it in a space station. It's a very annoying. Let's see here. Now this is an impromptu little space station, sort of, or refueling station, refining station. It's got a full assembler on it, one, so it can be used as a repair station. And a survival platform, I guess, of sorts. It is primarily powered by solar panels and batteries, but it can be recharged by a small ship, as you can see here. And it's got the O2 farms. It does have a limited amount of hydrogen at the moment, which has been coming from my ship here. However, I need to make sure that I stockpile here and here, because all of these hydrogen tanks, well, yeah, they won't stockpile anything because I'm just connected via merge block. I'm not connected via connector. So they're just drawing power from my ship. That's good. Okay. I have actually had a couple of players join the server that I was not aware of. Wolf is one of them. If it's the same Wolf that I'm familiar with, that's a person that I actually met on the console, the PS4. I used to stream Fallout 4 and Fallout 76 and Skyrim and that kind of stuff on the PS4 on my Twitch account way back in the day. That's how I met him. Had quite the following. Yeah, I had quite the following for a while. It was mostly friends of family.
Did you stream when you were in the universe?
No, this was way before streaming was a thing.
Oh, okay.
YouTube was still fairly new and all that good stuff. And I wasn't into streaming. There was just something about it. The technology just wasn't safe compared to the way it is. Yeah. There was too many things that you could do with streaming that you can't do now because they've patched a lot of the security holes.
That's good.
So let's see here. Merge.
Some fine with us doing this now, character transition out. Formal on it.
Well, that's good, actually.
That's kind of how I do things anyways. I figured like if you're, I'm saying that I'm like a casual gamer, but if you're just, casually like role-playing, I don't think constantly that you're out of character. Obviously, if you're doing like heavy roleplay, you do need that. That's correct. If you're doing like light or medium roleplay, I think it's unnecessary. I think people who are doing light and medium roleplay, even if they try to specify out of character stuff, they still go in and out of character all the time.
Well, see, that's
If you're doing light, you go ahead.
see that's the beauty of it, especially with not being scripted. When you're in character, you can basically just say, okay, back to the story, kind of thing. And when you're going out of character, you can say, okay, that chapter's done, kind of thing.
Yeah.
And then,
Just do it informally.
yeah, and then you can kind of look at it as like a prologue, epilogue, chapter, preface, whatever kind of thing. And it evolves over time. Like, for example, right now, all I'm doing is setting up the solar system. I'm not really doing stuff for the story. I'm just setting up the solar system, because eventually what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this ship over near the mining platform, which is basically the mothership, and I'm going to crash into an asteroid without damaging the ship, of course. And I'm going to have to repair the ship, and then make my way, and that's at the crash or just after the crash is when the story starts. And the whole idea is to be able to get back to the Earth-like planet. Well, I don't realize that I've been gone for hundreds of years.
Gotcha.
And there was a whole nanite AI robot war kind of thing. And I'm one of the last surviving clones of the human race. And then anybody else that joins the server is one of those few surviving humans, that were scattered across the universe and were reanimated for whatever reason.
Gotcha.
Which follows along with the whole space engineer story or space engineer theme. But that's kind of the premise that I had in mind. Whether it actually works out or not, well.
You know what's interesting? Inside the world, you are underneath a voxel. It's really like it's there, but it's not.
Yeah, clipping.
Oh, so when you are interacting with voxels, right?
Uh-huh.
It's sort of not there underneath the voxels you're interacting with.
Yeah, that's clipping.
Oh, clipping. I thought you said I was.
No, that's what it's called, is clipping.
Yeah. Clip underneath the surface. So yeah, that's something I noticed.
Yeah, that happens when your graphics card starts to overheat or overloads.
Oh no, I went under as I jumped.
Now, this is what I always try to get all of my mining ships to do.
Yeah.
Yeah, because this way I can just dig a hole. And this is my biggest defense against pirate ships. Because I'll make a small hole going in, and then I'll make it bigger after I'm about 3/4 the way in, and then I'll do an L and just sit and wait with my gun at the entrance. So I'll do that, and then I'll do this. I can sit there with my gun and wait for the baddies, and it sort of helps protect my ship a little bit. But of course, for whatever reason, the NPCs haven't spawned. Well, that's kind of odd, actually. Not quite sure why that's happened. Anyway, so what I'm going to do is...
Pretty scene. mid-space admin helper?
I've never used that.
No. Oh, it's sort of fair warning, so be careful. But yeah, there's a J command /GA, and slash J3, jump 3 meters. You can jump underneath building or something. Get underneath surface if you don't want to go into that spectator mode, and you want to do more on type building. You want to see like something without jumping into that spectator mode with CC. You can do it that way.
That looks really cool, actually.
Oh, how poor am I? You're ripped, right?
No, I'm core dump.
Join. In my head. Do we have separate heads? I hope so.
Okay, now that's a really scary question.
Yeah, it is. That's what I was asked. Does your voice have
Does my voice have what?
okay. A mind of its own, your extra voice on your head.
Yes, it's autonomous.
Is it just your imagination or is it real?
Well, if it's nanites, then it would be real.
Yeah, if it's nanites. But what if it's the effect of nanites? Is the nanite consciousness?
Simulated consciousness, but who's to say that whether it's bioelectrical or biomechanical is not real?
It's true. Possible.
I mean, with
It's
the
pretty bad when I'm walking around, and I'm looking for an ATM as a habit. It's something that basically I built. Where's the freaking ATM? These bases are so big. I'm very
I can tell you exactly where the ATM is. It's right where you built it.
It is exactly.
That's right.
Two of them there.
And they're both still in the same place, unless you moved them.
They both are. No, they're exactly. They're next to the freaking drink. Of course I put it there, right?
Of course.
You gotta get your cola or hot coffee. Get money out of the ATM. Also next to the store. I don't know why I couldn't find them. There's two ATMs next to the store. Like, where's the freaking ATM? I'm running around.
Yeah, you're at the store and there's an ATM on each side, and you go all around the base looking for the ATM.
Yeah, exactly.
Damn humans.
I don't have good visual speech. No awareness. Yes.
Well, you do know that inside the base, it is airtight, and we realize that you have that film on your visor that keeps the light out. So it is safe to open your visor so you can use your eyes and see things.
I don't have a visor. I just have electronic matrix.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Well, then your optic sensors need to be recalibrated.
I'm sort of well, in this world in my head, not the world that you're seeing. I sort of am like the
Oh, you're one of them.
So, because I'm basically like the first and last of my kind. If that makes sense.
I wonder why that does not surprise me. I don't think the universe could handle more than one of you.
Uh, this one definitely couldn't.
That works out pretty good, doesn't it?
There's not enough of that item. Just put one in there. No, I did. Of course, I haven't. Of course, there's not enough. But it's in there. I can see it.
Or you just think you see it.
I see it. Okay. So something funny happened. Trash needs to be behind trade station.
Oh no!
Second time. Yeah. It's a post-crossplay thing. Since crossplay is used by trade station.
You might
I
have.
thought it was corruption by Fire Camera World in SE Toolbox. So it's not corruption. I turned on trash recently. Trade station for their things too.
You might want to increase the block count for your trash cleanup.
It's set at 30. Everything's way more than 30 that are deleted. It's only deleting NPC stuff. Stuff that's owned by NPCs.
Yeah,
It
there's.
doesn't follow any of the rules. The only thing it's leaving is the headquarters. I think because they have a med bay. No hard-coded space here, but off the trash station.
Well, there is this setting that you can change that will increase the number of blocks for the NPCs.
Yeah. For the space bar, right?
No, NPCs overall. But I can't remember the setting right off the top of my head.
Yeah, maybe I'll look into it. Maybe that's just why it's tweaking itself. In any case, I just turned off Crash Flash for a while. Keep building trade areas. 45 minutes. Rebuild trade areas, like, not just now, but earlier. 45 minutes. All three of them. Now funding the headquarters accounts. A million start out. They wanted me to someone wanted me to put 50 million in there.
Instead of funding the corporate accounts, why not just put in like 3 stores and put everything up for sale?
Well, what I told them is, originally I was planning to put $1 million in each NPC, but I think the default vanilla NPCs start with some obscene amount of cash, like 100 million.
No, 10.
Is it 10 million?
I think it's 10 billion actually.
I knew it was. Oh, it's 10 billion?
Yeah.
Well, whatever it is, it's an obscene amount. I want the headquarters definitely not to have an amount of money. I want them to learn a little bit. That you can't just buy, sell stuff. You want ingots, you have to sell ore, the store. You can't sell either. Eventually your faction, your DC, come out and you gotta buy some stuff from them too.
Or mine and build.
Or you gotta buy. So I think $1 million's pretty good. It allows them to sort of get a feel for things without immediately breaking the store, but it's gonna break it. They just
Or just get rid of all the stores all the way around the board and say, okay, set your store up. You want to make money? Figure out how to earn it, because you got to have money to make money. So instead,
Yeah, I want to get the economy to work
okay,
for us.
then
Yeah.
then what you want,
For us.
what you might want to do is consider.
So I've already sort of got that planned out. You go ahead.
Um, what you may want to consider is eliminate all the buy orders in the system. Um,
There's no problem with the buy order.
well, hear me out. Get rid of all the buy and sell orders in the system, and only allow contracts at the NPC stations. Okay, and kind of backdoorish force the players to set up stores themselves. So if one player needs steel plates, they go to the store and make a buy offer for steel plates, and it will actually lower the cost of the items because it becomes a player-driven economy.
Makes sense. Pause for 1 second.
Okay, I sort of understand what you're trying to do with your server, so I am trying to offer up ideas that I think may help you achieve what you're looking to do with your server.
Yeah. Well, I don't want to waste your time on the economy stuff, but I don't want to interrupt either, so continue.
So once you've established getting people comfortable with using the store in that way, then you can propagate NPC buy and sell orders, which you basically, by that time, the players will have enough of each other's money that you'll need an influx of cash. But it's the corporation headquarters that's going to have a majority of the cash to start off with, which means it's the heads of the corporation that are going to control the resources and who gets how much and the prices, and that's the way it is now in real life.
Gotcha.
And with
So I think that's cool on the people doing the contracts thing. I hope people do that.
yeah, and it's a way to get the economy player based instead of NPC based. Alhambra. Okay, give me a second.
Alhambra.
Hello. Oh, I hate those spam calls. Anyway, once you get the players comfortable using the store, and it'll take a little while to get the player-based economy set up. You can.
They're not do that on their own.
Well, yeah, but you always
Starting on
when you're changing what they're used to, you kind of have to nudge people.
It's sort of a I do want a player-based economy, but unfortunately we're sort of doing different things. I've been trying to think about it, talk about it with Red, like the civilian thing and stuff. It's partially him in his lore, but it's also partially me. We're both sort of on this track. That's we want to let it run its course and see how it pans out.
Well, that's all you can do.
For him, he's got this lore and these factions set up. If he wanted to be a little bit more constrained than we are currently. And I sort of want to see the red versus blue versus yellow, green, whatever. In this case, it's like blue versus green versus blue.
Versus, yeah.
Three factions. Yeah, I kind of want to see how that pans out. And in order to do that, I can't completely shift the gameplay trade. So trade is sort of a thing that I hope people will do. Like individually, I hope they'll set up like Tor block, sell stuff to their faction buddies, maybe do some trade with other people, like make an agreement with the Revolutionary Federation, make an agreement to trade and populate Tor block on have like a place where they stick stuff where they maintain their trade agreement. That's cool. They have some traders in their faction. They don't all have to be military offensive capability or defense. Like there can be a logistics guy who maybe he just gets whatever he needs. He has to go to the potential enemy to get what he has to buy it. They need ammunition or ingots or whatever. He'll go to the Federation to get that.
Every faction needs a dedicated trader. Because
I sort of hinted at it in the Revolutionary, welcome, that the Revolutionary is meant like they can play however they want. Lore-wise, I kind of tried to angle them toward do whatever you need to do, including economic warfare. Any kind of subterfuge, whatever way you can hurt the enemy, even if you have to do it by buying stuff that maybe they might want later to do that thing. So I do want that to be sort of a background thing as far as like the PvP sort of thing. Maybe PvP isn't violent. Maybe it's like economic war because the revolutionaries are busy fighting the Imperials, so they only have the resources to do economic federation.
there is that. That's actually quite a clever idea.
But leaving that up to the players. So here's how my economy works. It's not even my economy. I mean, it is. I put a bunch of stuff in it. I'm not trying to be close-minded. It's too to say. I sort of explained it, but I didn't explain it very well. Some terminology that you have no idea. But I fucking calculated, so I just said a bunch of words. It sounded good, but it means nothing unless I explain. In any case, there's 120 bit IDs for each store. This will actually make sense how it works surface level without calculation nonsense. That 120 bit ID, the UID, is associated with a store configuration. That configuration specifies a number of things, including the chance for something to play, how the price can fluctuate, how much it can fluctuate, and also what the base market price for that. So what happens is when I put that into the custom data of the store block, it sucks those items out of the Space Engineer's ether into the store.
That works.
No fees, no. The NPC just gets all of those things that they want, and they get that every hour. So I turn the time down to an hour, like smart. So every hour, every store that I put that UID into, even if it's duplicated, it will suck in items and populate the store block like I added them in the administration area.
That's actually a handy bit of functionality.
Yeah, it is. Now after that first hour, when it ticks, it knows if someone came and bought stuff. So say you bought nickel, and nickel was selling for 53 space credits per nickel. If you bought more than 70% of the stock last time, then the prices get pick upward by like a very small amount, but it will tick upward. And it will tick upward every hour until people buy stuff.
I wonder if that would work on EOS.
If Torch will work on EOS, well, because it's a plugin.
Yeah, I'm not sure if Torch will.
Not a mod.
Huh. Because I'm not sure Torch should work on EOS. I don't know.
You know what will work
on
on
EOS?
EOS?
SE World
SE
Gem.
World
You
Gem.
want to
You want
generate
to generate
asteroid
asteroid ring
belts.
belts.
That's a
That's
plugin
a
that works
plugin
with
that works with
dedicated. It's a
dedicated.
torch
It's a
plugin,
torch
but you
plugin,
can
but you
put
can
it in
put it in
dedicated
dedicated
server and
server
work
and
without.
work without.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of using plugins with Space Engineers dedicated.
Yeah, it's a little
Yeah,
bit
it's a little bit
dodgy.
dodgy.
Yeah.
Thorwind's
Code
code leaves a little bit
leaves
to
a
be
little bit to be
desired.
desired.
He makes
He makes
updates
updates
without
without
changelogs,
changelogs,
and
and
he
he
makes
makes
very interesting choices
code.
So it
So
results
it
in
results
things
in things like
do
plant
side of each other,
where you get like a
planet
that's
all of a sudden
3G.
3G. And
And
your
like your whole sandbox getting
deleted
deleted if every
quite right.
quite right
Doesn't want
doesn't want
you gotta
there's a little bit of a to
sort it
sort it out.
But I was
able to
get
get
past
past the hurdles of
his bug's not
not a big deal.
He's
He's offering free and probably dealing with bullshit
to make it
to
work
make it work
with limited time to do
so.
so.
So
Having gone through
those hurdles and workarounds
that aren't documented
and
getting it
to
the way it is now,
it works pretty well for us.
Pretty much
Hands off.
Actually not the case for the economy.
For
some reason,
the economy
file, the
config file.
I don't know.
I don't know if like somebody at the host is fucking deleting all the shit out of my file.
Always
They just gave new person access there.
She looked at my shit, and after she looked at my stuff,
that file was deleted.
I
I don't even know like
I don't
I
trust
don't
people.
trust people.
But in any case,
it's
more likely
than not
smart
economy
plugin
that's clearing
file that second time it's done it now.
Yeah,
ironic.
I have had issues with Smart Economy in the past.
Yeah, they delete your stores.
It actually stopped my economy altogether.
Oh, okay. Your vanilla
economy.
Yeah.
It's a
It's a
replacement
replacement for it.
Yeah, but it stopped it working altogether. It didn't just delete my stores. I had to reload the entire world because nothing was showing up in the stores. And then all of a sudden, I'd logged out and restarted the game, and all my store blocks disappeared. This is a while back.
That was the torch plug?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm kind of wondering.
I had something.
I've had other things here besides the trade block, but
maybe
smart
companies
using my stores in interaction.
I think it has something to do with deleting or adding to a DLL file or something, or changing the SBC file somehow. I wasn't able to check it out or track it down before I got frustrated and just removed the mod.
Yeah, I don't know, but it's not a mod
plugin.
Okay, I call it mods.
Yeah,
that's no problem. What's interesting is none of the other store blocks are. Only those three exclusive.
Yeah, see, it was about a year ago. I was messing around with Torch and checking out all the plugins and the different mods and configurations.
I did a space test station too. In my space test station, it's like the planet post. And it is still there. It's never been deleted once. It's not a headquarters area. It does have a med bay. That's what I think it is. I think it's trash. Because I turned on the trash yesterday, and then the things got deleted. And when the things got deleted before, the trash. So almost 100% sure it's the trash. Maybe it's that block value that you were telling me about. Maybe that's trash somehow. I removed the value from the trash setting for the other area trash, the options grid count. I use that. So I don't know, but I'm almost 100% sure it's the trash thing in Smart Economy. But the config file could just be the Smart Economy. Use the config file.
That's true. It could be.
little bug in the code. Yeah, maybe it tries to write, and it opens the right buffer or whatever, and overwrites the file, and just writes nothing.
Hmm.
Yeah, I don't know. Because it's always a zero-byte file. So maybe that's the only thing I can think of. Does that sound right? It's like opening the right buffer and not writing it, and the file gets overwritten.
Well, if it's a 0 byte file, that file is basically just a buffer file. So what it's doing is it's actually putting that information into a different file. But
It normally doesn't write to that config file. It should only be reading it. So either a human being deleted the file, or some plugin or something opening the right buffer on that file.
or something is directing it towards that file but telling it to write to a different file. It could be something as simple as a 1 letter difference in the correct name, or a one number letter.
Could be the log.
Yeah. So it may be that it's just a syntax error. I mean, I've had more complicated problems from something a lot simpler. So, like if you're pointing to a specific file name and that file name's been misspelled, that could lead to a whole host of issues.
Yeah, I don't know what's her face or his face.
Yeah, it can be hard to track down too. So.
Yeah, I mean, it's not my code. I can look at it. I just haven't. I had a. You heard of PostgreSQL?
No.
Oh. Well, I'm using PostgreSQL, and it's doing something crazy like that. And it was production version. It's like, and I ended up having to get open and get out of code. It was like error.
Yeah, typically when I'm messing around with games and stuff like that, I try to use all open source stuff. Just because it makes things simpler, and I don't have to worry about copyright infringement or software issues or intellectual property. It's a game, so it's not like I'm trying to make money off of it.
Not asking money. May accept donations. It's not super expensive. Well, we're not doing really.
Okay, so
Red and I manage. I hope. I didn't actually ask if they are there.
well, my thing when I ask for donations, it's not basically for hardware and stuff like that. Like most people, I have no income. Um, So I have no way to host like the GTX server, even though it's a lot easier on me to do the GTX server. I can't afford it.
Yeah, you could ask for donations. What is kind of neat about Serverblend is they do have a pay portal that's broken.
Well, see, that's one of the things about
It usually works.
GTX.
Red tried to dump some money in this month, and they said it's busted. But normally it works.
That's the thing about the GTX. You actually have the client pay, where your subscriber.
They have the exact thing. It sounds like that's awesome.
Yeah, you can have your subscribers go in and make a donation towards your server. so they don't have to
Yeah,
give
I
you
like
money
that.
directly.
I don't want to do a Patreon
and
I'm not
I'm
going
not
to
going
use
to
my
use my
business
business
account,
account,
my
my
PayPal,
PayPal,
my
for my
business.
business.
I don't want people
Connecting,
sending money
sending
to my
money to my
business for
business
space
for space
to
engineering
just
just
private
private
for
for
the
the
public with
public with
whatever
whatever
personal
personal
business.
business.
Very good.
My
My personal
personal
PayPal
PayPal
account,
account,
I just
I
don't want that.
want that.
I want
I
that
want that
separate.
separate.
My
My personal
personal one,
one,
my
my
one that I
one
would
that I would
use.
use.
It's on my friend's email server. I'm
I'm
gonna
gonna
like talk to them. We're good.
we're good.
Because he has
He
access
has
to that
access to
email
that email
address.
address.
So I just,
So I
I prefer not to link that anyways. So
So
the pay portal thing
PayPal
is
thing
kind of
is kind of
cool
cool
because I don't
because I
have to
don't
worry
have to
about
worry
the
about the PayPal fees or Patreon or anything like that.
which I'm not paying
Not paying
fees twice,
twice,
having the
having
client
the
pay
client
plus
pay
plus
plus
I'm
I'm
paying.
paying.
They can just
They can
pay
just pay
the people
the people
directly,
directly, and I don't have to touch the money.
That's right. That's the way I prefer it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that
There's no question
about
like
what I'm doing with the money or whatever. It's definitely
right.
server going to the
going to the
company.
company.
People don't think
People
I'm
don't think I'm trying to
make
make
money
money
off
by
buying
something
or
with
something
their
with
money,
their money,
which is fine if people want to do that. Not that
have a
have a
Patreon.
Patreon, they want fine.
Well, see,
But yeah, that's not what I'm doing.
like when I first started doing the Space Engineer stream, I actually had a number of people that were willing to help me get a video card. Well, I didn't realize it at the time, but I talked to my wife about possibly getting a new video card. And she basically said, well, I'd like to be able to, but we can't afford it. I said, yeah, I know. Well, she ended up picking up a few hours here and a few hours there. And within the time that she picked up those hours, our router went out too. So she ended up picking up a few more hours, and I didn't know any of it. I didn't realize any of this. This is part of that time frame where I was mentally out of it. So I wasn't thinking coherently, that kind of thing. Well, she had actually worked like 35 extra hours in a 2-week period to make enough to get the router and a video card, so I could do the streaming.
Yeah.
And
There's nothing wrong with getting money for hardware. People expect want things. They're enjoying your stream. It's fine for them to pay some money so that they can get the quality they want.
yeah, but it's the thing about it is I always feel uncomfortable accepting help from others, because I don't stream to make a living. I don't stream to make money. That's not the purpose of it for me. And
The thing is, those streamers who are getting money, they're not majority of them are not making big bucks. They're maybe paying for their rig that they're streaming with.
right, and believe it or not, I have been using this same computer since 2007, 2008, something like that. And I've used it to do accounting. I've made money doing accounting. I've used it to make web pages for people. I've used it to make spreadsheets and PowerPoint presentations. I've used it for my chicken farm. I've used it for all manner of things, and it's made me a lot of money over the years. And I only paid $800 for the computer when it was brand new. And I've upgraded the video card twice on it, upgraded the memory once. And it barely plays Space Engineers, but it does. And it allows me to stream. And that's basically all I use it for now anyway. I don't use it for online banking. I don't use it for personal business. I use it strictly for gaming.
Yeah, fine.
And
if you're getting money from Twitch for like streaming,
nope.
and it's
and
like,
it's like,
hey,
hey,
no, I'm just saying,
let's say you're
that,
doing that, and it's
probably
probably
under
under
the
the
amount
amount like
for
for
tax
tax deferring.
Well, just
If
for
you were claiming it, let's say that you were getting like $5,000,
you want $3,000,
whatever.
obviously
Obviously,
you could still
write
write that off,
that off,
and if you're
and
not,
if you're not
making
making
it
it
your
your job, that's
way under
way under
author
author
credit claim.
credit claim. Business only.
yeah, and see,
So it's such a small amount of money.
it cost me basically $200 just for basic cable TV, phone, and internet. Excuse me. Damn. Sinuses. Ugh.
No problem. No problem.
Ugh. Yeah, I've got a real bad gag reflex. My sinuses drain the back of my throat and I want to puke.
It's okay.
It's okay.
Spent too much time on that alien planet. Or maybe it's too many alien planets. Ugh. Okay. Now I could build myself a computer a lot cheaper than I could buy one, and it'd come out a lot better. But I at my age I would much rather buy a cheaper computer with a 10-year warranty on it than have a computer full of parts that have maybe a 3-year warranty on most of the individual parts. Because one way I can replace the entire computer, the other way I can only replace one or two components. But if I get enough people that like to stream and like the stuff that I do, I'll set up another server that's not donated, and do it that way. And the nice thing about the GTX server is that it's not limited just to space engineers. It can be whatever game I choose. And that's the beauty of it. But the GTX server, from my experience, has not been as reliable as I would like it to be.
Yeah,
I think they're like the official.
That was
More than one. They're like official.
I never really had a good feeling about GTX. I kind of feel.
Here's what I think. I'll tell you.
I don't know
How many things are we telling people about
this
on
YouTube,
Twitch,
Facebook,
am I telling all this stuff?
Oh yeah.
Okay, that's fine.
I'll tell you what I think. I think that Keen wanted a really cheap hosting deal
for their
official server,
like the
cheapest
that it could possibly be, but without
sucking
sweet ass. And GTX was that company. They could have hosted the server themselves. But they would have had to live with themselves and the developers. The developers wouldn't have allowed the server to be shit, basically. And they wouldn't have allowed it to be right before beat shit up, where it's like the best it can be without being good. But GTX will do that. I don't want to say I'm 100% sure, but I'm pretty sure.
Oh,
they just don't want to worry about it.
You know how much it would cost you if you decided to run the best Space Engineer server that you could? It would cost you over $130 a month.
More than that.
Close to 1,000, maybe over 1,000. Tell you why. So
if you, let's say you have like a 12 or 16 core machine or something,
That's not enough. It's going to be limited by like IO times and stuff. You're gonna end up wanting to run like clustered instances so you get more people on. But yeah, eventually you're gonna run it even with SSDs. You're running it to like IO, but you also pretty much need like at least a gig each, not like 10 gigs. So you're gonna want fiber being at a data center. So you're looking at like bare metal, at least a couple machines. A couple machines would probably be enough, and then multiple instances meshed together to get the number of players you want. That would be really good. Now, if you were just doing like regular 16-player, officially supported Space Engineers to where it's like a King Software House. Yeah, I mean they would only have to pay like $100 a month for like 20 servers or whatever. It would only cost them like maybe a couple grand every month. Plus like if they're doing bare metal stuff that they own at a data center, it would end up being less than that in the long run. They'd obviously have to pay insurance, but it would end up being less that much.
That's why running your own dedicated server makes more sense.
Yeah, I mean, over the long term, like years time, save more money. That's how
Yeah, because I mean, you think about it.
Over the course of a year, you pay for the server.
Yeah, and building a server is actually not all that difficult. It all depends on the type of server you build, and just remember that a server really doesn't need but one monitor and one workstation.
Well, all your servers only need one monitor.
Right.
You have a whole rack. You only want one monitor.
That's right.
Even then,
And it's not like, and they don't even, you need one mouse, one keyboard, no matter how many servers you have. And one monitor.
So if you don't have a monitor, you know this.
Yeah, you just
set up your server or whatever, and you drag it down to the data center and plug it in, and then connect it.
yeah, and you just have remote workstation.
Windows, remote desktop. Yeah. You bring your laptop with you. You hook up to the data center Wi-Fi, and then you connect to your network. Authenticate with whatever you need to authenticate with. You get it to your rack, and then you connect to your machine.
Yep.
Yeah, you don't even need a monitor. Though a monitor is nice. You have like KVM over IP or something.
That's right.
Like that can mitigate the need for a monitor. But it's nice to have a cool monitor. You got room for it. If you do have like a stage or something, set up like a little workstation area. Leave there.
And then, of course, people don't often realize exactly what a data center is. And they don't realize that a data center doesn't have to be the highest technology, blah, 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 but it's the connection between the data centers and the actual servers that has to be fast, because it's your data path that has to be able to carry the information quickly, not necessarily the data center.
Yeah, GTX is offering like their professional services team, and as far as if there were sitters, I don't even know if there were sitters. To be honest, I think that they were just the only ones that would do it. Price keep wanted.
Yeah, I
think most companies want to do it with the traffic get from the server and the having to manage that. I think that yeah, we can do it because they're kind of ahead of the game in a way, even though it's like the best worst get. That's kind of how it goes. Yep. You get the best worst. Like more reliable, better.
Yeah, and I've had a mixed bag from my experience with GTX. They do some things really well, but all in all, their consistency I haven't been happy with. I'll put it to you that way.
GTX.
Yeah.
Yeah. they do torch or no?
Yeah. Now their functionality is
So
great.
they're pretty decent.
Don't get me wrong. You can set up torch. You can do a dedicated server. You can do mods. Um, and they've even ported over to the EOS, so you can set it up for crossplay. But crossplay is what broke the server and screwed everything up. And ever since that happened, I've not been able to access the server. And then ever since my bout with the seizures, I haven't been able to get a hold of Bovin since that night. Okay, that's a lot of magnesium. A whole lot of magnesium. Okay.
Anyway, I got a on me person beyond permit.
I missed that.
I said, are you beyond permanent?
Yeah, I'm going to be on for a while.
Oh, okay, I'll be right back.
Okay.
My turn first. I'll come back.
Okay, let's see what's in this asteroid. Now, that might be a little bit too close. Oh, no. I don't want to go to the moon, actually. So, what I'm going to do here is I am going to go this way. Where's the mining platform at? Oh wow, okay. So the mining platform is 205.71 kilometers. I thought it was further than that. Huh. Okay, so I guess I will make my way towards the mining platform. so begins the journey. Nickel. Grab some of that just because. Okay, how much nickel is that? That's good enough. Some more nickel. What else might be here? some iron, but I think I'll run into that eventually. That's a lot of silicon. I do have silicon, right? Yeah. Okay. So head this way. I actually thought the mining platform was a lot further away. Iron. Yay. Okay, I like a million. And I think that's about it. Yep. Good guess. Okay. So now just kind of keep on going, exploring, and what is nickel? Gold, silver, and uranium. That's what I need. Gold, silver, and uranium. And then once I find all of those, I can head back to the mining platform and make my way to Mars and all its moons. Some magnesium. Cobalt. I always find it hard to tell the difference. Of course, ice would also be nice. Ooh, it is silver. Nice. silver than cobalt. Okay, so now I got platinum, so it's gold and uranium. And I think once I find all the necessary resources, I'll head back to the platform. And it'll take me a while to get there, but I'm hoping that's ice. I don't need a whole lot, but I would prefer to have more than what I need. I know there's iron. The question is it just iron? I got a big asteroid. Okay. So let's see what we got going on over here. 1.6, 1.8 million. So we're good there. Okay. Don't need any more ice for a while. Hoping that I can, there we go. That works right there. Inching ever so closer. How's the survival kit done? I'm at 2 million stones, so let's keep it going. As long as I'm continually processing. Make use of as much of the stone as I can. I shall be right back. I neglected to take my pills. I am feeling the effects. Simvastatin, the averastatin, the lisinopril, metformin.
Foreman?
Foreman?
Okay, it'll take a little while. I waited a little too long, so I'm already starting to feel the effects.
Hey, what's up?
Hey,
Good
what's
go?
up? You gonna go?
Tired?
Oh, no, no, no. I forgot to take my pills, so I'm feeling the effects.
Oh, okay.
Oh, nothing.
Oh, no.
Yeah, so if I happen to not respond, it's probably because I passed out.
Oh, because you just took your
Oh,
medicine.
'cause you just took
Yeah.
your medicine.
It can take a couple of hours sometimes for the pills to hit.
Got it.
Yeah, I can miss it by a half hour to 40 minutes, and it really doesn't bother me. But 2 hours, yeah, I can start passing out again.
Yeah, it takes a couple hours.
Yeah, it takes a couple hours.
Because I'm supposed to take them at noon to make it easy. Noon and midnight.
You know,
So the Imperial
so
base
the
is
Imperial
sort
base
of meant
is
to be
sort of meant to be
like
like
Star Wars, you know,
Star Wars,
long hallways.
long hallways, passage, gateway.
Oh, I understand. Okay.
Yeah,
I didn't
Yeah.
realize
Yeah.
that you were going with that.
we're not going with Star Wars.
We're not going with Star Wars.
That's just
That's
my
just
sort of.
my sort of.
Well, basically he made this giant
giant fucking puzzle.
And I told him I didn't want to
I
go.
told him I didn't want to go.
I'm not good with
I'm not good with
this.
this.
You like do
Well,
it.
you
It's all
like
correct.
do it. It's all correct.
So I figured.
I figured I would go with
that
sort of like
imposing
that imposing
atmosphere of
giant gates, long hallways,
stuff like that.
stuff like that.
I
Because
figured
they're like a military faction.
That's like
you know got
decent amount of
amount of
forces, and they would kind of try to show off that
they can afford to make just a
giant gateway
and
that's
it's
nothing
room
but
that does
like
nothing but like
basically operate
as like a giant gate
just in the middle of their
just in the
base.
middle of their base.
Oh,
So they have
extravagant
have,
shit.
like-
unlike the Federation,
they have like
seven
seven
gates
gates.
for the
One
giant
of them
gates.
for the giant gates.
They just have gates
They
everywhere.
have
forever.
gates everywhere forever.
Like military checkpoint.
Oh, there's no Jerusalem inference there whatsoever.
So yeah, they've got plenty of
plenty
nice
of
sort of things.
nice sort of
The
things.
funny thing is,
The funny thing is,
come in the front door.
come in the front door.
Tell me if this
is
called stop and drive. Was
thing.
put up your person that way.
person that way.
You good that way?
You good that way?
Sometimes I'm really versatile. Sometimes I'm not.
Okay. So
Okay.
there's a couple gates.
There's a couple of gates,
And then there's one of those
giant gateway
It's not
blocks.
that giant.
It's not that giant.
Called gate.
Called gate.
Okay.
And then there's this
Giant
production
production
supply area.
area.
I can take a screenshot.
I can take a screenshot.
Pretty much described it.
Pretty much
Anyways,
described it.
there's a guy standing.
There's a guy standing,
And every time I come in this room, I see this guy standing
off in the corner now.
It's the NPC.
It's the NPC.
Yeah, that would kind of be freaky.
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah, I like it.
Feel less empty.
Feel less
So like I'm coming in here.
So like I'm coming in here and then I
guys,
guys over
watching. So I added some more.
I added some more. I added another guy.
He's sitting.
I added guys right.
So much room in this.
So much room in this place.
I might as well give them.
Military
something.
Okay, if you keep on adding just males, you're gonna be labeled as a sexist, right?
Yeah, I do know.
Yeah, I do know. Unfortunately, there is no male
smaller body on this
back.
It's all dummy.
Arm.
Oh, so now you're calling the males dummies. Oh, that's just mean.
Yeah, it's kind of fucking thing.
That's not politically correct.
No, I got one sitting down.
One of them sitting down.
Should he be standing up? Kind of like
mansplaining.
His legs are
Oh, that reminds me of an ad I saw on YouTube. Actually, a guy's in jail, and he goes to use the restroom, and this big old Bubba type character that's in the cell with him, he goes, "You sit down to go pee." Sorry, it was funny to me.
Yeah, is that a commercial?
Yeah, it was some type of commercial.
Strange. What was it a commercial?
I actually don't know because I was half asleep, so it could have been something I was semi dreaming. I just had, it might have even been a show that I was watching. It's just something that I remembered.
So there's an NPC that sits offset from the block, and I stuck him at top like a console, one of those little buttons. Looks like you press it. The button. Anyways, that's enough. Three seasons.
Oh man.
Yeah, they didn't. They don't have a contract.
Well, contract blocks are actually really handy. Even if you don't have contracts established within the block itself, if you accept NPC contracts and you put a contract block on your base, you'll be able to see which contracts you've accepted and from which faction.
That's cool.
So it may be worthwhile to have at least one contract block in each area.
Each headquarters, yeah.
Just-
I do actually, except for the Imperials, they don't really have room for it. Take it the way I want it, so I just
Well, you can always embed it in the wall.
stick it anywhere, but I had a lot of place for work.
Yeah, one of the things that I'm thinking about doing is once I get everything set up the way that I want it, is I'll save the world and restart the game with the same settings and just add the world or the solar system and all the planets that I've set up. But I'm not sure how to do that on the EOS side of things.
Say what you want to do again.
Being able to save the planets, the stations, and the asteroids that I've developed, but restart the game so all the voxels are refreshed.
You just do that with trash. Go to trash. Box. Just set all the lost.
Yeah, but I don't want to destroy any of the planets or whatnot, and I want to be able to save them.
We won't destroy the planets. They're all stuff in mind. So if you do a voxel reset, it just restores the question.
I suppose I could do it that way.
Yeah.
But how do I save the worlds and the stations and the solar system, that kind of stuff?
So if you do a voxel reset, it won't hurt different things built. Unless you built voxel.
Right, but what I'd like to do is be able to save the world so I can publish it.
Oh, okay.
You can do that.
Set a naval dedicated server save sandbox PC file and all of that stuff. All the different files. Dedicated server save. They would publish it.
They would publish it
inside your space.
Line to work.
Now, is there a command line that I can use within Space Engineer's client to do that?
When you go to your save games, you go to load, choose the one you want to load, and you edit. Or publish rather. No.
I think I understand what you're talking about.
Yeah, I'd have to load it. Go with that. I think you just go to load and then go to your world. Federation base is actually nice. You guys kind of feel like strange because I started with the Imperial. I didn't have Shattered. Then I went to the Revolutionary. Red. Republic. Imperial. Obviously he made Shell for the Revolutionaries. To that myself. But I do all the part. Then when I come to the Federation, I have weird stuff. I had done a lot of stylish stuff. I had to redo a little time consuming. One thing I do like about Storm Command Quarters, all of these tiny little rooms. And I know it seems but it's actually less, at least for me. Maybe just because I'm familiar with it. Less.
I just had an idea of something that I could do on your server. It kind of follows along the lines of what you were talking about in a way, with maybe a little bit of a difference. You had mentioned
With the Federation?
Actually, non-faction specific.
Okay.
Basically, I become a roving trader that spreads gossip.
Sounds cool.
Yeah.
And people can pay me for information. And I could do stuff like, I don't know, they'd pay me for information to get information on a specific character or a specific base. And there would be some predetermined amount of time that it would take for me to get the information back. They'd pay a fee, and basically I'd be a trader and an information broker.
Cool.
And I wouldn't necessarily be a part of any specific faction.
Yeah. Well, you can do that as stout. But at this point, we're kind of between a rock and a hard place. Maybe I am red. But how that's work. I don't. Yeah, you welcome to like a moderator and play the game outside the faction. A staff. That's how I did it in the past. We had another server. Where everyone had to be in the faction. We're fine actually. Less trouble. And what I did is people who didn't want to be in the faction. Do two things. One for pirates. I just let them not be in the faction. I just let them break the rules. So they could roll. I'm not a big fan of rules. To me, it's more like a guideline. More about like the spirit of the rules, the idea behind it. So rules just end up structure that you build on. but you sometimes like
to make things work.
it's not gonna work forever.
Well,
Pirates kind of fall into that.
you know the archetype of like Quark.
Yeah.
That's kind of the thing that I'm talking about. You know, he's basically a good person or a good entity, but he does what he has to make a buck. You know, whatever that might be, whether it breaks the rules or not. And he's got no problem pitting the left against the right and going, I don't know what you're talking about. Wasn't me. You know, of course, that would mean that I'd have to read the lore and get familiar with it and role play a bit, that kind of thing. But it's just an idea that came to mind.
So here's
what we did.
what we did.
We had a freelancer
faction, which
want to do their own thing.
Want to do their own thing. They no share their med bay, right?
I want to be a freelancer.
I want to be a freelancer. I want to be a bounty hunter, a mercenary. I want to be a trader.
Those long hauls,
whatever.
I'm not playing with. But I'm in a faction.
So
that was the
freelancer.
And then the pirates.
I just let them lone wolf.
It's more fun that way. I talk to them
about like what
kind of they wanted to do
as far as pirates.
They just wanted to like mess with people
a little bit, have some fun.
Maybe shoot them a little bit, maybe take a little bit of stuff.
But not every. Not be like.
Yeah, no problem. Not fun faction. That's fun.
That.
But on this server, I'm not really sure if that's
workforce.
But it will work for staff.
Well, even if I stay a part of the Federation.
Yeah, I mean you don't have to.
Do anything super specific.
Have the ability to kick. You can do your own. You can play outside of the Exile faction. So be staff. Be read to everyone. Hostile to everyone. Just whatever happens. Only catch is. I guess. As staff we don't.
We are not depending.
Yeah, basically, if they attack you and you get destroyed, you get destroyed.
Yeah. If somebody sees you and you're hostile and you're doing like something. I guess we can blow players up. Maybe it doesn't matter if you're like a moderator. You don't have base master powers. I guess it's fair, like a regular player. So no one can accuse you of cheating. There wouldn't. So yeah, you can shoot back.
Or
I don't want you to not be able to defend accident.
Or you just have invulnerability turned on, or do some type of block so the ship can't just be destroyed. But there's a caveat: I'm only allowed a specific ship, or a large grid and a small grid ship. Oh, you're leaving for work already?
Yeah, I have to drop off the post office box payment and the payment on the electric.
Okay. All right. You have a good night.
Thank you.
Love you, honey.
Love you too. I'll see you after 9.
Okay. Okay. Sorry about that.
None.
sailing people. Of course, they get the docks with they have multiple stores,
contracts,
pure docks.
pure docks.
I need
to get the itinerary.
My thing is though, I like doing a little bit of everything, but
you can play as Exo.
You can play as Exo and that guy. That's sort of what I do.
Sometimes I like to be able to get into creative mode and build. Sometimes I like to get into creative mode and build ships. Sometimes I just like to play and trade and that kind of thing. Like what I do on my own stream.
You can do that.
You can do that.
But the other thing too is I get lost in what I'm doing, and like you, I stop hearing, I stop seeing chat, and I get so hyper focused on what I'm doing. I get immersed in what I'm doing, and I go,
it's normal.
oh, what? Wait, what? Huh? Sorry, were you talking to me?
Yeah, that happens. If I'm doing something, and it's being done well, I probably am not aware. But if I was, to what I'm trying to do without error.
Well, see, it's like what I've done on this server here. The first thing that I did is when I logged in, I created a mining platform ship. And then I jumped the mining platform ship a couple of jumps away, and then created various bases all over the place, and set the stage up, kind of like a prelude. And then basically, once I have some planet setups and a space setup, then what I do is I go around collecting all the resources that I'm going to normally need. And then I'm heading back to the ship, and while I head back to the ship, just as I get back to the ship, I crash. And that's the end of the prologue. And then a certain amount of time passes, I end up respawning either on the mining platform or the crashed ship, and that's where the new story begins.
Makes sense.
And then from that point on, I try to play in character, but that doesn't always work.
It happens. Like I said, lighter, like medium roleplay. Yeah, you're not always in character. Why it's like light. Not serious.
Yeah, so basically what I'm...
Add some immersion.
Yeah, so basically what I've been doing is I've been collecting all the different resources. I've got uranium and gold left to go. And then once I find the uranium and gold, then I'll specifically head back to the mining platform. And then I crash. But before I crash, I have to re-enable damage. So that way when I crash, I actually hurt my ship, try to hopefully disable my ship. And I'll have to repeatedly crash until I destroy my ship in just the right way. And that's part of what I like to do, is I like to share with people what it takes for me to set the stage, if you will.
Yeah, so on my server,
what you're saying, you want to be like a free agent.
You want just the freedom to do
whatever you want to do outside of the lore.
But still within the lore, but
not in like faction.
Not necessarily the
Federation.
Well, to be a trader and to be an information broker or spy for everybody, to do something like that, you can't really be within a faction. Or
No, you can't.
I am partially accepted as being in all the factions. It just they don't all know it.
Yeah, so
how about playing as Exile?
I suppose I could.
And then
that would sort of protect you. Because
you said you don't really want to do combat.
Right, I don't like PvP.
I don't think that.
I don't think people are gonna shoot.
They might like grind you for 10 or 20 HP.
This fun.
But I don't think they're actually gonna fire at you.
You'll be neutral. White.
Yeah, I know about the shooting to emphasize or the grinding just to be cutesy kind of thing.
Yeah, they do that.
Oh yeah.
I think you'll be fine. Honestly, I think that would get you what you want. And then you can hang out with us. Sort of explore the world a little bit. With Red and I. It might be a little harder. Probably can help us because go out and do your thing and run mine or whatever, and sort of collaborate.
And then I could.
I'm doing my drill.
Well, see, one of the things that I actually enjoy doing, believe it or not, is I like creating ships, like the little ships that I create, my little miners and stuff like that. And say I wreck a ship. Well, shit, I wrecked a ship. Well, time to go build another one, and I'll just abandon that ship. And somebody comes along and says, "What idiot just left the ship? All they did was damage their hydrogen tank." Well, I didn't have the parts to repair my hydrogen tank, so I just abandoned the vehicle. And I left my tools at the base, or I died. And I didn't have a survival kit, and it allows people to take over the ship and try different things and do different things with my creations that I wouldn't have otherwise tried to do. Or even give them ideas for different types of ships to build. And I can do everything, build everything in game. I can do it in survival. That's not a problem. As you can tell, I do that mostly anyway, even on my own server.
Yeah.
Sounds like you kind of want to do more. I don't know what Red's
survival. I wanna
trade Thor. They seem to have a lot of green around.
Yeah, and then that way, I'd have to catch up on the lore. Not that I'd be able to remember it, but it wouldn't be.
You'd be a robot.
It wouldn't be prudent for me not to know the lore, or at least have a better understanding of it than I do now.
Well, you have about the same understanding
as before. So.
That's pretty good.
I think that's pretty good.
Honestly, Red said that he has voluptuous, or how do you say it? Voluptuous. Can't say it. Voluptuous.
A lot.
Yeah, that's better. He has a lot of stuff. But I don't know. Kind of a bullshit.
Yeah, it's.
I wish that he would bullshit the Lord.
I mean, it's just.
I know that he can
It's just a thought, and I. I'm usually the one that creates.
You follow
I'm
me
usually the one that creates the story or the narrative, so
Yeah.
it's a little bit hard for me to play within the scope of the story because I'm usually
there's
one
not
that
a whole
creates
lot
it.
there.
Yeah, there's not a whole lot there.
There's
Is what I'm
what
saying.
he's
There's
given
what
us, and that's it.
he's given
Everything
us,
else
and
is in
that's
his
it.
head, or it
Everything else
doesn't
is in
actually
his head, or
exist.
it doesn't actually exist.
Thought. But mostly not making.
But mostly
thought.
not making.
I don't know what he's.
I don't know
like,
what he's like.
got an attention to detail.
Got an attention
So
to
he
detail.
obviously has
So he obviously has very specific things that he
that
wants,
are detailed.
that are detailed.
Whether that is
Whether
something
that
that's a
is
real thing or
something
not,
that's a real thing or not,
does
not irrelevant,
not accessible to me at all.
not accessible,
Especially if he won't share it.
especially if he wants to share it.
So until he shares
So until he shares the little
details
minute details
that he's working,
that he's working,
it doesn't exist.
it doesn't exist
Us
for
as staff or
us as staff or
people as players.
people as
Especially
players.
if I tell them,
Especially
hey,
if I
players
tell
want to
them,
know about
hey, players
how
want to know
the
about how the
revolutionaries
revolutionaries
homeworld
taking
is like,
care
yeah,
of homeworld. It's like, yeah,
I've
been
been right now.
what I
My data banks are
my data banks
updating.
are like updating.
So, like at that
So,
point,
like at that point, like as far as I can tell,
no
like
one has any clue.
like no one has any clue.
That's maybe not true.
That's
That's
maybe not true. But that's
so I wouldn't worry too much about the
so I
lore.
wouldn't worry too much about the lore. It is an important thing, actually, and that is the reason a lot of the players join the server.
They're not joining because I'm
They're not
running the
joining
server.
because I'm running the server.
And they're not joining
And they're not joining
some,
because
like,
of
what
some like
what the idea I have
what the idea I have
is. They're joining because they're
they're joining because they're engaged with
So that's important.
Yeah, that's important. But
anything that
anything that hasn't put out yet doesn't exist.
Now I could even make lore for the character that I'd like to portray, but I don't know if that would be stepping.
You can do that.
You can do that.
Well, I don't know if that would be stepping on Red's feet.
100% of what we want people to do.
So we want your character,
your character's lore,
your story,
your story, your own story.
The other stuff is like
atmospheric backdrop, like people
setting.
setting.
His lore
That makes sense. His lore is.
Think about it from like the DM's
perspective.
You as the DM, you're giving players
setting
some ideas
some ideas of like what they
by like present.
present.
Store here.
Oh, hey, there's a store here.
Yes. Go to this doctor.
Go to this doctor. Sort you out.
You give them options.
You give them options, but
the
the players in the end, they may decide. They may decide they want to do something else.
That's fine too.
That's fine too. Can be fun.
That's how I
do
sandbox.
I do sandbox.
Sure, you can probably imagine. I do world building.
I'm a world builder. So I have like variables. I do have like NPC stuff rebuilt. But the way there is
a plot, but it's not one. Who, for example, who ends up being like the big bad evil boss? If the party starts at like level 3 or something, I have no clue.
I have no clue.
If I'm doing a campaign, chances are it's one of like
maybe 3 to 5 big bad baddie.
Yeah, I always intend to level cap when I DM, but I don't always make it that way properly.
Usually what I do is when I think of an NPC, I don't want to say I one-dimensionalize it, but I figure each NPC has an alignment. Which I know a lot of 5e they don't align. Big alignment.
Right.
They don't make perfect sense.
They don't make perfect
sense. The main reason why is because how that NPC
uses the world,
how how they determine what they're going to do next.
Not completely, but it's something.
Not completely.
So
but
every one of my NPCs that I create, they get an alignment. They get but that's so they get an alignment. So they get an alignment, and they get a motivation. Like they want something. Every person in the world wants something. They at least want one thing. So I give my NPCs an alignment, and then a goal. Some NPCs they just want whatever. Something's been killing their sheep. They want it to go away. Maybe they just want sugar, and the neighbors eat a fucking bag and won't talk to them. Be hard to go over and talk to the neighbor and get sugar. Maybe they want to live forever. Maybe they want to become the most powerful wizard in the world or something. Depending on whatever it is, maybe they don't want anyone to know they're a vampire, and they kind of have like an inverse goal. Like their goal is to keep the world from finding out that they're an immortal vampire. Whatever it is, I give all my NPCs something specific. And then I work around that. I usually end up with like few different NPCs that have grandiose goal that makes them a potential big bad evil guy, but they're not necessarily one.
I've always liked being the anti-hero. You know, the one that is always doing things for the right reasons, but always ends up doing the wrong thing.
Yeah.
But for the right reasons.
It's good to have one of those in your party.
Yeah, the one that has more luck.
Yeah.
Hey, wait, I'm like that in real life.
So
that's sort of how I view this. I don't want to railroad people. Feel like they're drained by the lore too much. I want people to honestly, ideally, I would like people to just make stuff up, including red. To me, that's what role playing is about. Obviously, as non-staff players making up what's not true. If it's not true, it doesn't matter. It's still part of their.
Well, it's role playing. None of it's true.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. I mean, none of it's true. Yeah. But I mean, like, say there's a thing. Let's say that the revolutionaries, but they have shadowy leader. Maybe they just be like, yeah, I'm that guy. I'm here now. You guys better listen to me. Why not just have fun with it? Just be like, hey, I'm captain of this outfit. I outrank you. Just talk with me. Yeah, I got some work for you. You need to go. Mining. We need this resource. Private. And then the other player's like, what the heck? Is this all serious or whatever? It's up to them. Beaver's like, hey, I'm not a private. I'm a captain also. They just have fun. I'd like people to not feel like all being played out. Because not only is that too much for Betty, he doesn't apply. Too much for the player.
Well, let me kind of give you an idea of the persona of the trader that I have in mind.
Okay.
And I'll start as soon as I kind of set the stage so you can start asking me questions and pay attention to how I answer the questions. Okay? So whatever questions you would like to ask me, go ahead and start now.
Oh, you want me just to ask questions about your character?
Well, as I'm that character. A role play thing.
Okay. So you want me to kind of like character.
Yeah.
Player. Yeah. I don't know, because you'd be outside of factions, they'd be asking on voice.
being outside of the faction, it gives me.
You're in Exile.
Yeah, you're in Exile.
Well, even being within the XO, it's a little different because the constraint is neutrality, but more of a chaotic neutral.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, that's fine.
For
I won cause trouble, but I
yeah, causing trouble without causing trouble.
Yeah, without action.
Without actually.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a bad idea.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a bad idea
to
to start stuff up a little bit, like
the revolutionaries are building up for an attack.
You guys better
get ready.
They have cruiser or whatever. They're gonna send a fleet. You guys. Pretty sure. You guys.
So, what would you like me to do about it?
No, I mean, I don't know.
I don't know if that's.
Are you wanting to
charge people money? I got the goods.
Well, it depends on the information that you want.
I'll tell you where it is.
Yeah. I'll tell you where it is.
I'll tell you where it is. But you have base for 100,000 base for it.
Hey, if you want something from me, I'm going to want something from you.
Yeah.
What have you got?
I think that's fair.
I think that's fair.
So I don't know what's the red lore as far as
what he's told me is what's in the lore channel.
What's in the faction chat?
What's in the faction chat is or in the faction list is kind of what I put there, which
just that we are robots.
Mysterious not.
So that's kind of
canon.
I figured I'd rent some ideas
by him. I told him
essentially each of us
robots are unique, are like first of our kind.
Okay, what happens if I'm one of those that's short-circuited?
Files in our brain, and we operate a little bit differently. Some of the robots have malfunction, and they may be connected to Bill like
network
Exo
or whatever, but it's
not like intrusive or like the hive mind, just so weak.
Well, see, if I've gotten good at not hiding, but utilizing my disability from the rifle accident to become functional in society, even though I'm actually not very functional. I've found ways around it to an extent, and I think I could bring something like that into like a malfunction or a short circuit to where there are times when I am part of the XO and there are times when I'm autonomous.
Well, we're all autonomous.
Right, but there are times when I'm connected and times I'm not. In other words, there are times where I have a connection to the XO faction and times where I don't. So sometimes,
Where you leave the faction.
well, where I have factional abilities versus non-factional abilities. So, and it kind of ties into, okay,
Where you're like some wires are crossed.
That you want to accept bribe.
Exo
Right.
accept bribes.
Yeah, that sounds good to me.
But
I
when,
wouldn't even say ask
Red. I don't think he'll care.
but when I'm in character, there's a difference between when I'm doing stuff for the server, doing maintenance, whatever, and doing the.
You won't have to do that.
You won't have to do that as the moderator.
You literally will just have the ability
to have
That's all moderators do.
That's all moderators do. They think they get the kick and ban.
I don't want him banned.
I don't want him.
Yeah, on very rare occasions will I ban somebody if they're being impolite or being out of character and calling people names and being really just a nasty person.
Yeah, actually, if someone's being a nasty person,
I don't want to ban them.
I don't want to ban
Unless
them.
they're like
Unless they're threatening,
person like
like
to harm somebody in real life,
to harm
or
somebody in
they're
real
like
life, or
advocating
they're
genocide,
like
or they're
advocating
being like
genocide,
super
or they're being like
racist.
super racist.
And I don't mean like the
And I don't mean
JW,
like the
you're being like
JW, but I mean
obvious,
you're being
blatant
like obvious,
racist.
blatant racist.
There's being completely
There's being
inconsiderate of other
completely
people.
inconsiderate of other people.
Yeah, I don't want that. But
Yeah, I don't
beyond
want
that,
that.
as long as
But
it's not
beyond
like
that,
they're not
as
being
long as
super
it's not
hateful,
like they're not being super hateful,
it's just like
it's just like
you know, casual use of the N
casual
word,
use of the N
or
word,
something
or
that's just
something
inappropriate, like
that's
calling
just
somebody
inappropriate,
idiot,
like calling
or
somebody idiot,
telling
or
swearing at
telling
somebody, or
swearing
whatever.
at somebody
I
or
don't really
whatever.
want to
I don't really
police
want
that stuff.
to police that stuff. Police.
Yeah, I don't
That makes
normally
sense.
police
That
it
makes sense.
either, but when they're being derogatory to a specific individual incessantly and disrespectful, there's a certain
Yeah, I
amount
don't
of
want that.
decorum
Yeah, I don't want
that maybe you don't ban them for it, maybe you just kick them for
Yeah,
it.
kick. Use the
Yeah,
kick
kick.
button, yeah.
Use the kick button.
Yeah, the way I see it is sometimes
The way
people
I
need
see
a
it is
cool
sometimes
off,
people
and
need a
if it's
cool off
Discord, I
thing.
will
If
ban
it's Discord, I will ban
by
people
the
from
way,
my Discord.
because of Discord
Because of
guidelines.
Discord guidelines.
You're going to promote hate speech,
Promote hate speech.
joke, that's
Literally
against
joke.
Discord
That's literally
guidelines.
against Discord guidelines.
Signed up.
Read them.
You
Signed up.
can't follow the rules, then
Can't follow the
you're
rules,
not part of
then
my Discord.
you're not going to be
I
part of my
don't
Discord.
really care like
I don't really care like what my personal
said
opinions
is
are.
funny,
I think what you said
because
is
I
funny
may actually be
because
funny,
I may actually be funny until
not use.
not used.
Yeah, and you can, as you've already noticed, I can be quite colorful at times.
Yeah, for the Space Engineer server,
For the Space Engineer server, while it is
so
going
it
to
is sort of
Discord,
an issue.
so it is sort of an
I
issue.
do want to play that
I do want to play that a little bit more fast and loose, in that I'll make the decision on banning.
I don't want a toxic environment.
I don't want a toxic environment. I don't think it's an issue. Space Engineers people are different. They're not like super edgelords who wanna like
say things, get a rise up people. They're
get
usually
a rise up people. They're usually
if somebody's like FU or
somebody's like FU or
like
something,
me.
like mainly.
Well, see, that reminds me of something in Roadhouse, the movie.
Yeah.
He's talking to that guy, and he says, no matter what happens, you be nice. He says, if somebody insults you, you be nice. If somebody calls you a cocksucker, you be nice. And the guy says, well, how will I know when not to be nice? And Patrick Swayze's character says, I'll tell you.
The way I deal with it on
I deal with it on my Discord, actually, I don't just outright ban people.
What I do is if
someone's acting
what I feel is
appropriate,
is
I think
fairly
it's
objective.
fairly
I'm
objective.
sure that
Who I ban.
I will
talk to
explain to them
and I will explain
why
why
what they said is not appropriate,
something that's
not
something
kind of
that's
like you were
appropriate for
talking about.
Discord, kind of like you were talking about.
Be like, well, joke, probably not racist.
Probably not racist. You're probably not
I'm not a racist, not in the slightest.
Yeah,
No, I mean a lot of people.
I mean a lot of people who think that they're racist aren't actually
My preference is more about cultural differences, not about the people. I don't agree with some cultures, but that doesn't mean I don't like the people that live within that culture. I understand that.
I definitely say inappropriate.
I definitely say inappropriate things and there are things that I don't like about.
That's normal. I'm not racist.
I'm not racist.
No, I mean it's
If I say some of those things,
if I say some of those things, somebody
somebody.
I just avoid saying talking about that stuff on.
Yeah, there are certain things that are inappropriate in a public conversation.
Yeah.
talk about that
Yeah,
stuff at
we
like
talk about that stuff at like
closer friends at party or
closer
whatever,
friends
on
at
some place
party or
where there's
whatever
not
on some place where
guidelines.
there's not
Yeah, it's
guidelines.
more about
Yeah,
manners
stuff
and
about
respect.
and have fun.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
it's just
So
that part I get.
So
if after I pull people
if
aside,
after I pull people aside,
they seem to be like,
they seem to
the
be like, yeah,
guidelines are just crap.
the guidelines are just crap. They just never read them and they just aren't getting it. They
basically social contract we have, too vague for them to interpret or whatever. Unable to understand. Then I give them a timeout. I mute them until they get the idea. And if they don't, give me hey, I understand what I did, and this is what was incorrect. It won't happen again. And it won't happen again. If they don't do that in like 3 days, then I ban them. So I don't just outright ban. I give them a chance. Yeah, usually those people don't. I want to follow the guidelines. They just want to break them.
Yeah, that could happen.
Yeah, it happens. And then they get it later on. Yeah, a month later. 3 or 4 later. That's like,
And
the bad guy.
I'm the bad guy.
And then they'll finally say,
Bad guy.
why did you ban me? Well, honestly, I don't quite remember, but I think it was because of this.
Yeah, I mean, I honestly am not.
Really fine with being the bad guy.
I hate force.
I hate force.
I like policies.
I like policies and
I like having them. But I really don't.
making them, but I really don't.
I don't like being confrontational, whether it's a good guy or the bad guy. But when it comes down to it, I'll do what I believe is the right thing to do in whatever capacity I need to do it.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean I'll always be right, but I'll always do what I think is right.
Yeah, honestly, as far as banning stuff goes, if somebody's being really disruptive,
we are gonna have to ban them.
But I don't want to ban
ban one time.
More just I want to tell people. Hey, we don't do that.
We don't do that here.
In the directory.
Yeah, that's the only bad thing. As far as my perspective goes on running a server or being a part of like in your case, the Exile group, is that you basically have to be a glorified babysitter.
Not really. I mean, you sort of are at the standard that you're already holding.
Yeah, when even as staff or an admin, you still basically have to be a glorified babysitter, because people, they don't have the same sense of respect and manners as one another. So there's a wide variation. Some people, especially younger kids, they're a little less inclined to have solid impulse control.
Yeah, they don't have a filter. And the internet doesn't help that. Like 10-year-old behavior.
Right.
18-year-old.
Like 18-year-old
Have no filter.
Like a bear.
So
Told them that it's okay to not have filter and you vomit.
yeah, I mean that part of it I do understand. I do get.
Yeah, I mean it's not completely their fault. But I mean, if the internet was like the way it is now, they would never be like that.
Well, I learned early in my life that I'm responsible for the things that come out of my mouth and the actions or inactions that I take. And so is every.
Because obviously, in the past, that was normal.
Because you had to interact with real people.
Right.
Right? Yeah.
Right?
People.
Yeah. And people. Even if they.
People don't want to.
People want. White.
Discord,
but on
people
Discord,
have
people have like
they want to just
they want to just shit
or
post
just like go into a
or
voice
just
chat,
like go into a voice
say
chat,
nonsense.
scream, say nonsense.
I'm not saying everyone
That
that often.
I'm not saying everyone. That
Some
often.
kids,
Some kids,
sure you've
some
been
kids, sure
on
you've
like
been
Discord,
on Discord,
have
so
this
the ones have to.
Oh yeah, many times.
yeah, they think that it's
Yeah,
cool to
they
do
think
that.
that it's cool
Some of
to
them
do
are
that. Some of them are
beyond the age that
beyond the age that they should be
that too.
that too.
They just
They just didn't mature.
Now, it's one thing when you're in character and your character's an a-hole to begin with,
Oh yeah.
but there is a breakover point.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Like you said, the toxic environment is not something that I'm ever okay with.
No, I like
No,
PvP.
I like PvP.
Because I feel like
it toxic.
you have
You have
outlet for
an outlet for things.
want to
Really,
go below somebody up.
want to you to go below somebody up.
It's all about having fun. I
It's
find
all
that
about having fun. I find that
respect each other a little bit more as long as
respect each other a little bit more as long as not rust.
birds running around.
Birds running around.
Yeah, my favorite thing is to mine underneath somebody's base and shut down their safe zone,
Yeah.
and then take over their base and have their own turrets kill them.
Oh, you like take out their power production?
Oh, you like take out their power production.
Yeah,
So,
and then have their own turrets kill them, and
So-
say,
Yeah.
"You need any help? This, I can't understand what's going on with my base." And I go, "Whose base? You don't. This is my base. What are you talking about?"
And we don't do the safe zone.
Yeah, we don't do the safe zone.
So you can just actually
So
drill
you
on
can
this
just
base
actually
and
drill on this base and
outside of it.
not inside of it. Not.
Yeah, I don't like the
Yeah, I don't like the
stuff.
safe zone exploit stuff.
Too dodgy. It doesn't function.
It's supposed
Full
to
of false stunts.
full of false stunts and security.
It also allows people to
It also allows people to avoid. Well,
Yeah,
be able to press a button. Be like,
be able
yeah,
to press a button. Be like, yeah, no people.
You've got a base. Somebody else wants
You've got a
it.
base.
You're
Somebody else wants it.
base.
You're online in that base.
Go and
They
take it.
should be able to
Oh yeah, by the
take
way,
it.
the siege
Oh yeah, by the way,
the way that works is the
thing.
next day.
The way that works is
24
the
hours,
next day,
you go to
24 hours,
drive
you
thing
go
at it,
to your jump drive thing at it,
Get
or
the-
30, get
the claim goes unclaimed.
the claim goes unclaimed. Go
It's a good thing.
the thing.
Oh, so you have to retake it.
Yeah. The only thing I don't
Yeah.
like about
The only thing I don't like about
faction system is,
PCs,
let's say
is
today's
let's
my
say
day off from work.
today's my day off from
Wednesday I
work.
gotta work.
Wednesday
You
I
set
gotta
the
work.
siege for 4 hours.
You set the
No way
siege
that I'm
for 4 hours. No way that I'm gonna be there for 4 hours.
So it kind of screwed me over.
So it kind of screwed
I'm
over. I'm seeing.
Yeah, I can see where that.
Otherwise,
It's the only drawback of it.
I can see where that's an issue.
Ideal.
It's close to an ideal mechanic.
Close to an ideal
but I don't think
mechanic.
it works.
But I don't think it works. It's like, and
Player.
it's two player. It's two.
Now, the only way that I would be able to gain real time information, if that's what the other characters, the other players wanted, was to have access to spectator mode.
Access to what? Oh, okay. Yeah, we have spectator.
Oh, okay. Yeah, we have spectator mode law.
You need admin
Admin actions to get
that can sort of cycle
that
targets. I
can
think.
sort of cycle
Space
targets.
Master.
I think. Space
But
Master.
yeah.
But
The
yeah.
only problem with that is
The
it
only
costs
problem
some
with
lag.
that is it
Cycle
costs some
target.
lag. Cycle target.
So I want that
So I want that very
like Space Master.
like Space Master. US.
Isn't
So
there?
we're not,
So
Isn't
we're
there a
not,
way that?
like,
we're not like
go ahead.
isn't there a way that
Go
you
ahead.
can assign um, spectator mode in like
You can go into spectator
You can
mode
go
when
in
you are at the
spectator
respawn
mode
bay.
when you are at the respawn bay.
That still works.
That still works.
Shift gate, any player.
Shift escape, any player.
oh, so you have spectator mode enabled for everybody.
No, it's disabled.
No, it's disabled.
But when you respawn,
When you respawn, you hit shift escape, you can go into spectator. Play the
Makes sense.
Makes sense.
Can anybody do that, or only the EXOs?
I'm pretty sure anybody can do that.
I'm pretty sure
I don't think
anybody
it's
can
an
do that.
admin.
I don't think
I am
it's an
hard
admin.
coded in, so.
I am hard coded
But
in,
yeah, I
so.
think anyone can go into
But
spectator.
yeah, I think anyone can go into spectator.
It just means you can't go into
It just means you can't go into
playing.
spectator while you're
The
playing.
respawn system is basically
The respawn
busted.
system is basically busted.
Terrible code.
Terrible code.
Their workaround is auto
Their
respawn.
workaround is auto respawn. Auto respawn doesn't work very well
And that
either.
spectator.
And that spectator thing is locked into that
Yeah, I always turn off auto respawn.
server.
So I'm pretty sure on any dedicated or
Instead
port
of
server, instead of choosing to
choosing
pod
to
or
like spawn
spacesuit,
a pod or
you
spacesuit,
choose to go into spectator
you
mode.
choose to go into spectator mode.
Spectate is turned off.
Spectate is turned off. Dedicated.
Which is, you could say it's maybe an issue,
You
but
could say it's maybe an issue, but
it's kind of slow.
it's kind of slow.
Excuse me. Oh, I hate it when that happens. It's not as bad as it used to be. The whole sinuses thing. Woohoo, found gold. Quite a bit of it, actually. I'm trying to think of different ways that I can make this work on your server.
I mean, I haven't heard it.
Wrong with what you said the entire time.
Aside from the
Aside
whole
from
spectator thing,
the whole spectator thing.
if you want to do maintenance, we'd have to talk about that.
We'd have to talk
But
about
I don't really want us to
But I
spam
don't really
players.
want to spam players.
I think that if you're role
I
playing
think
a character,
that if you're role playing a character,
you could use your
you
exo
could use
status
your exo status
along with that. Like
along with
interact.
that. By interact
Them. They're doing like fly over.
over by stuff. Be like, hey, I don't know.
Well, I suppose I could do that.
However, we'll explore the world and find things.
PS marker or whatever.
PS marker or whatever.
I'm like that.
Or yeah, maybe
Gather
they're looking for a specific mineral and I'll have a GPS marker for it. But I won't tell them that I actually sold that GPS marker to somebody else already.
Yeah, something like that.
Maybe you found out something
from
like
Redder Eye. Something you saw.
Redder Eye. Something you saw.
Told you about players. Players.
Like,
Or I could incite violence and say, yeah, I heard this person is over here. They found this resource node and they're over there mining right now. They were bragging about how this, that, or the other thing, you know. You know, causing discontent amongst the masses. And then I can blame it on short circuit. And say, I have no memory of it, my data banks are empty. I have no recollection, and I did not have sexual relations with that woman. Wait, what? You're a robot.
If you want to either play as Exile in survival mode.
Like I said before, you're still welcome.
You're still welcome to do that.
Have the moderator powers.
Have the moderator powers.
That's fine because
That's fine
you don't have
because
them.
you don't have them. Not
Apologies.
that.
1 second.
Wow.
Oh, city abandoned. Hold on. Be right back. Hello?
I'm back.
I don't know if you're still AFK. Perhaps you are.
Okay, I will let Diana know. All right, appreciate it. Thank you. Oh, that was actually a useful phone call. Okay, I'm back, by the way.
Welcome back.
The first useful phone call in 4 days.
So
So
the Federation
would lose it out.
leave them, which is fine.
Which is fine.
I don't know what's going on with them specifically.
Do
You have some
because
sorting out some of them, but
Why-
the rest of them not really sure.
but
what
the rest of them
they're
not
doing.
really sure
Might
what
be a little bit more
they're
casual.
doing. Might be a little
Why
bit
would they
more casual,
lose out?
like facing years gamers.
Well, I mean, they're losing out on a member.
They're losing out on a member.
Right?
Well, yeah, but if you think about it, so far everything that I've attempted to do has pretty much been erased a couple of
Not
times.
really.
Oh really?
Well,
No, not really.
What about the
No,
underground
you
base?
made your ship.
You made your ship.
And then I moved it to Exile Island, and then I moved it to Exile Island, and then you came back to the server, and I put it back on where you left it pretty much. So that wasn't a race. Your ship was still there with every. You didn't lose anything that time.
So you didn't lose anything that time.
This other time, all the stone you got to keep.
All the stone you mined, you got to keep. And actually, in that hole that you
I
built,
put iron in there. By the way.
I put iron in there. By the way,
part of it that's outside the safe zone.
Part of it that's outside the safe zone. It was halfway in the safe zone.
So I put iron in the half outside the zone,
and I put
snow back on top of the ground.
Just so like playing stone accidentally and vehicles don't fall in there.
Inside the
safe zone.
Okay.
So you stored a game.
You stored a game
in the sense
that you still have all of your stone and
Plus now, if you want to go mine that
Plus
same
now, if
spot
you want to
again,
go
there's
mine
iron
that
there
same
now.
spot
So,
again, there's iron there now. So
I mean, I guess it depends on how you think about it. But
I guess
there's
it
no
depends on how
iron
you think
anywhere
about it.
else.
But there's no iron anywhere else next to the safe.
It's kind of like I gave you the iron.
Kind of like I gave you the iron.
So you didn't really lose any of your progress.
The only thing is there's not a giant hole in the ground.
Because unfortunately the runway is so big that in order to compass the edges of it in a sphere, it ended up extending itself into the hole where you're at. You wouldn't have been able to fully mine through the voxels. You could have backed out.
You could have backed
but
out.
But you wouldn't have been able to do anything else in that part of the safe zone. Encompass the entire part of the hole where you made. So you wouldn't have been able to close off the area. You could have kept mining them. If you had kept going forward, you would have been mining out. Does that make sense?
Oh yeah.
Does that make sense?
And I kind of figured because of the blocks that you built there, you were kind of planning to do like a hangar
Yes.
type. Yeah, so you wouldn't have been able to do that anymore. Unfortunately. I sort of obviously want people to go out a little bit farther away from the safe zone, not because I'm planning to expand it, but it is always a possibility that I don't go there. In that case, it was 50 meters. Good news is the revolutionaries and the Imperials are not dead. That requires me. Safe zones are already bigger. They're all pretty much 100 bigger. Honestly, everything's bigger than I wanted. I wanted alpha. Safe zone. Now I have a new player. Stream the base on it. Streaming forever. Honestly, even I have a little trouble. When I spawned into the revolutionaries, all the water, giant revolutionary takes me a minute to stream in pretty size base. And that's kind of how I was thinking from the beginning. I played Space Invaders. I know how poorly optimized it is. I don't want it to be like Star Citizen. You have to buy Space
Yeah, we have to buy new shit all the time.
No. You have an older computer. About Space Invaders. 7 years ago, I want you to still be able to play off. It was right next. It's because of the structure big. Mods.
Yeah, and the mods do really impact my computer a lot.
It'll work fine for you, man.
It'll work fine for you, man. I don't know why, but your computer just handles no problem.
Right?
Um,
We're able to load in the world.
Yeah, but it does take me quite some time.
Fly around, dude.
It takes you a little bit to load in, yeah. Yeah, it's the bases. You go 5 kilometers out from the bases, build 6 kilometers out.
Build 6 kilometers out.
It won't stream in forever. It's not 6,000 blocks.
Not 6,000 blocks worth of jump.
Nobody cares.
No, mostly nobody cares.
Nobody cares about it but me and Red.
Nobody cares about it but me and Red.
Time on it.
We spent a bunch of time on it.
I mean, it's a love hate.
It's a love hate.
I love the work we did.
I love the work he did. The bases are awesome.
It's just hustle with
production. Power.
But it's not what I originally wanted. Disappointed.
Disappointed.
Which is the worst case so far. Where a player can't get in. And
maybe it's not even the base.
Maybe it's teen update.
Based
Maybe it's his graphics card. He says he's an i7.
He says he's an i7.
1,000. Whatever K.
Whatever
K. I mean, his computer should be able to afford it.
Well, you've seen the different bases that I've built.
Yeah.
Both above ground and below ground and the space stations and stuff like that. My designs are very simple in nature, but they usually have 2 power sources, production facilities, ice, hydrogen, oxygen, and batteries.
Yeah.
And
That stuff
oftentimes,
doesn't matter too much.
Mainly, if you build too many blocks,
Doesn't load in well.
yeah, and that
Once you get in the world, it's okay.
It's just once you're spawning it.
well, that's why building small, compact bases is so important.
It's better to make your mid-bay area. Easy for you to spawn into.
Easy for you to spawn into, so you get in quickly.
Your other stuff may be bigger.
Want to be.
That's how I play Station.
Now, it's like this little mining ship that I built. I'm not sure how this mining ship would function on your server. Not only because the cargo capacity is different, but also the amount of thrusters that I have on it.
Yeah, it's sort of like
the one you have now. It's nicer.
It's not as functional, actually, and it has 0 reactors.
Okay.
all hydrogen.
It's hydrogen and batteries and hydrogen engines.
Yeah, that's cool.
The problem is I can't ever mine enough resources to build this ship in a timely manner on your server without having a mining ship to start with.
Well, yeah.
And the VTOL, though it's a good little miner, the conversion shows that it's a multi-purpose and not a specific dedicated miner.
You can convert it with the iron, and that's. I mean, all the resources. You talk to Dewey. He has like
400,000 iron.
Well, yeah, it's a matter of having a grinder pit.
Yeah.
Because the hand grinding. Okay, for the Imperials, a grinding pit and a 3D welding pit makes sense.
They have it already.
I just don't know where they're at. Because what I would do.
The Imperials have.
The Imperials have that already. They took a district.
Actually, Dewey found the district headquarters.
Federation. You guys could have that. Probably half an hour.
Because what I would do is I would take that VTOL, I'd grind it down all the way.
Yeah, you can do that.
And then I would rebuild basically this ship or some configuration of this ship. Now that I know that it's easy to build and I only need cobalt.
You have nanobot build and repair too.
Oh, that makes it even better. That makes it even better.
You can just project it and let nanobot build and repair it.
Yeah, because I actually built this with bars in mind. That's why there's that conveyor port on the back end.
Oh.
because that's where I was going to put the build and repair.
Oh, okay, I see.
Okay, I see.
They're gonna pull build and repair off.
They're gonna pull build and repair off.
Why?
I'm not urgent pulling it off.
I'm not urgent pulling it off.
Broken.
It's broken.
And I don't like it.
And I don't like it.
Players.
Put it on me.
Which version are you using?
Apparently
The newest one. Since
the newest one.
Wasteland update,
Since
it's had
the
bugs.
Wasteland update, it's had bugs. What's happening? Some blocks are
ground by build and repair.
Ground by build and repair to where they're not welded up.
I'm used.
Some other people are having other
weird issues like their high turning off.
I'm afraid that somebody's gonna get
special item like
stick it on their base and build and repair down to one silicon.
Down to one silicon.
I'm using the original version of build and repair.
Dummies.
Yeah.
Dummies build and repair. Yeah, that's the one.
Dummies build and repair. Yeah.
And
It doesn't work.
it works for me great.
It sort of does.
It sort of
It has
does.
those bugs. They're
It
in
has
the bugs.
those bugs.
Discussion
They're in the
section
bugs
since
discussion section since January.
They're not.
They're not.
So you can.
So
use it. Stone
you can
Industries using the same one.
Stone Industries is using the same one.
It does build.
It's used. It does build.
Just has
shit.
those
It has
little
those
quirks.
like bugs, little quirks.
For me, it's an annoyance.
For me, it's an annoyance.
One, it's not my mod.
One,
Two,
it's not my mod. Two, I don't want to
deal with
mod. I'm not going to deal with it. To
open source.
open source.
I'm not going to.
I'm not going to because I don't want
driving to my version. It's not busted.
driving to my version. It's not busted.
It's not my code base.
It's not my code base.
It's his.
It's his.
And yeah, it's been broken for
it's been broken
a couple of months. It has various bugs and I don't like the nanites.
I don't like
I
the
don't like the
nanites.
nanobot build and
I don't
repair.
like the nanobot build and repair.
Put it
I
on,
just want
make
to
it easier to
put it on,
start it.
make it easier to
I know how hard
start it. I know how hard it
get your stuff welded up.
get your stuff welded up. Don't have the resources to
chip.
build a
Want to
chip.
get your miner done.
Want to get your miner done.
So that's why I went ahead and
That's why I went ahead and acquiesced.
Quest just
Quest. It's just
I think
fair.
it is a good way
I think
players
it
to
is
get
a good
started.
way
I don't mind
players to
having
get
one of them.
started. I don't mind
But if
having
it's
one of
going
them.
to
But if it's going
behave erratic,
behave erratic
or have
where
weird bugs
people are having weird bugs
that I have no clue what's
that
causing
I have
until
no
I
clue
find
what's
out
causing
that
until I find
fair.
out that it is fair.
Yeah, I just don't want to deal with that crap.
Yeah, I just don't want to deal with that crap.
I don't like buggy mods.
I don't like buggy modders.
that don't
Don't
maintain
like
their
modders
mods.
that
Well, I
don't
might like
maintain
the
their mods.
person.
Well, I might like the person. Like
I don't like that behavior. I
I don't
guess
like
I should say.
that behavior. I guess I should say.
Makes me not trust them as a modder,
Makes me
and
not
I don't.
trust them as a modder, and I don't.
New card is
mods.
top
Like
tier
new
modder.
card is
But
tier modder.
because he
but-
has so many mods,
Because he has
he
so
lets
many
his
mods,
mods go out
he lets
of
his mods go out
maintain
of
proper.
maintain proper. 41.
So while I sort of trust
So
Guard,
while I sort of
I
trust
also sort of
Guard,
don't.
I also
I trust
don't.
whatever he's working on. At
I
the
trust
moment.
whatever he's
Weapon
working
core,
on at the moment. Weapon
working on
core,
it with three other.
working on it with
Trust him.
three other.
Yeah,
Trust him.
that's something
Yeah,
I will develop.
that's something.
But as far as something from
But as
like
far
years ago
as
that he
something from like
touched,
years ago that he touched,
500,000 kind of upgrade. No, I don't trust.
an upgrade. No, I don't trust him.
Because obviously he's not maintaining.
Because obviously he's
He
not
doesn't have any
maintaining.
interest in fixing.
He doesn't have any interest.
People have told him stuff's wrong.
People have
for a
told
couple
him stuff's wrong for a couple of
Yeah, he's one of those that he burns out on a mod. It stops interesting him, and he just lets it go.
Makes sense.
Yeah, makes sense.
And that's fine.
And that's
But,
fine.
Yeah, I just have to watch
But
out. for stuff.
yeah, I just have to watch out
And I
for
think
stuff like
build and
that.
repair will
And I
get,
think build and repair will get
but I think will
hopefully,
end up
but I
being
think will end up being
because build and repair has always been.
because build and repair has
So
always
has the nanite. It's
so
a
has the
battle.
nanite. It's a
Keen,
battle
really.
with Keen. Really,
They're battling.
they're battling for doing.
Yeah, they're trying to limit functionality because they see it as breaking the game.
It does. Sort of.
It
breaks
does.
Play.
Sort of it breaks play.
You have some invisible thing
You have some invisible
that
thing
goes through space
that goes
starts
through space,
deconstructing players'
starts
blocks,
deconstructing players' blocks, like the Mana Control
when it
Factor
enters some
does.
invisible
When
field.
it enters some invisible field,
It's doing something that Keen
it's
never
doing
intended
something
to
that
happen.
Keen never intended to happen.
So what happens instead of breaking
So what
the
happens
mod like outright?
instead of breaking the mod like outright?
Don't like
Hey,
what Keen ends up doing is they
what
change
Keen
the
ends up
API.
doing is they change the API.
It's not like a direct attack on
It's
the
not
mod,
like a direct attack on the
but
mod,
they're trying to
but they're trying to
update the functionality.
update
Maybe
the
it's something
functionality.
as simple
Maybe
as
it's something as
trying
simple
to
as
improve
trying
the shield
to
function.
improve the shield function.
There's been a lot of push on the shields.
There's been a lot of push on the shields.
Sort of likes the shields.
Sort of likes the shields.
While they're not doing exactly what
they're
trying to help a little bit.
they're sort of trying
Maybe
to help
that
a little
API
bit.
update affects
Maybe
the
that
way
API update affects the way
So there's some weird bug that happened. I don't even know honestly. I just know that mods have constantly broken my transporter. Did Keen really want people to teleport around the admins? Probably never thought about it. But obviously there's a way to do that.
Yeah, I like the teleport mod. I've just never been able to use it properly.
Yeah.
I used it. It's fun.
It's fun. It's another new guard thing.
It should work.
It should work.
I'm sure it's
no
still
bugs.
buggy.
I'm sure it's still buggy.
But then I've
That's why it's not on our server.
I've installed it, but I've never quite figured out how to use it properly. So
It's a little bit complicated. Transporter
I had
officer.
transporter officer.
When I was playing it, I was like, okay, here's
here's the deal. We're gonna put all these mods. I'm gonna be the captain. You're gonna do my like weapon transporter.
Shields officer. Just want the. You're gonna. Okay, and teleport. Transport. Transport. Stand on the pad. But it definitely does work. Does it still work the way it did when I used it before? I don't.
good question.
Yeah. But yeah, I had a Chief O'Brien.
I had a Chief O'Brien
guy.
guy.
Transporter dude. Scotty. Gotta have
Multi-crew honestly is better.
You have different people with jobs. Have a dedicated guy. Then
you don't have to know all the things for your mod.
If the guy who figures out how your transporter works, makes it so it's on your transport wherever.
Okay,
It works on GPSs.
I'm going to check this last asteroid,
GPS.
and then I'm going to dock to the mining platform.
In my ideal world, every ship would have a large block. I feel like if you're flying, unless you're flying a really small large block. I feel like if you're flying like a frigate or something, you have at least one other on board. Maybe he's piloting. Maybe you're the captain. Steering it pairs and all. Maybe captain. Like captain guy or whatever. Either way, it helps to have.
Okay, here we go with the end of the prologue.
Targeting. Nice.
Let's see here. I'm going to check out this asteroid.
I know.
Oh crap! I lost power. Oh no! No! I'm gonna crash.